The sentencing phase for convicted murderer Gerald Goines has been postponed until next week. The former HPD narcotics officer appeared to experience a medical episode and had to be escorted out of the courtroom and later seen leaving on a gurney. Joining us live in Studio A this morning to break it all down for us is KPRC2 investigative reporter Mario Diaz and criminal defense attorney Joe Venus. Good morning, gentlemen.
Dramatic events yesterday in court, Zach. By the way, good morning.
Good morning.
It was really intriguing to see for everybody who was there. It happened right around 11 o'clock. Joe Venus joining us this morning. You had Tanisha Manning, the state prosecutor, really just landing massive verbal blows against Gerald Goines and his character and who he is. And then you had that moment. We have the video. Let's go to it again, where you see Gerald Goines in court struggling, and then here he is being wheeled out about 25 minutes later. I was down low. I captured that shot you're seeing right there, and I was able to see his eyes, and you see a right hand that was kind of like nervously shaking there for a moment. But when you saw that moment happen there, again, you can see him. He was definitely in a state where he was cognizant, but he knew that he had to be taken to the hospital for observation. Joe, your thoughts on this? Have you ever seen anything like this in such a high-profile case?
Certainly not in a high-profile case like this. It could be anything. I mean, you've got a man in his late 50s, early 60s. 61 under an extremely stressful situation. Right. Like you said, a prosecutor just hammering away at him, trying to convince this jury to send him away effectively for the rest of his life. I guess it just got to him.
This happened while the jury was there. They didn't see him being wheeled out on a stretcher, and the order by the judge of not following any news reports obviously is still there. So this video right here, they haven't seen in all likelihood. We expect no one has seen this in the jury if they're following the honor system, right? But what about the episode in the courtroom? They were there when that happened. How does that impact the jury, do you feel?
It depends on what they felt about it. If they felt that it was genuine, that this was all kind of emotionally coming to a head for him, right, that could give him some benefit.
But if they feel the way so many viewers feel on Click 2 Houston, who've been messaging us, where they feel like this is an act, according to the viewers, your thoughts there?
It's just going to drive the point home to them that everything the prosecutors have been saying about him for 3 weeks now is true. And he's doing something again to manipulate the system for his benefit.
With regards to the prosecution's presentation, this happened at a key point. Gerald Goines is being sentenced to prison. It might be for life. It might be just for 5 years. But you had Tanisha Manning, who was moving along, and then suddenly she has to stop. And this happens. Does she get her time back, and do they start this process all over again? Or does she have to pick up from where she was and she only gets X amount of time?
That'll be up to the judge. My suspicion is Judge Nelson will give her some time back because, how crazy would it be from going from Thursday to Monday and having to pick up mid-sentence right where you were? She's going to get an opportunity, I think, to bring the jury back into it.
Questions that people ask me was, does he have to be there?
It depends. If he voluntarily absents himself from the proceedings, if he chooses not to be there, at any point after the jury is selected, they can proceed without him. But in this situation, if it's a medical emergency and he's, say, still in the hospital in ICU or something like that, then no, they can't proceed without him. But with a minor episode like this, my suspicion is he'll be back by Monday and they'll go on.
And I was about to say that court is not happening today. The jury was immediately excused yesterday when this took place. They will be reporting back on Monday morning at 10 a.m. The jury will be listening once again to the state's presentation, and they will go and deliberate. But considering what happened, can the defense at all make any kind of clarity as to what happened to their client to the jury in this case?
Probably not, because it's not evidence. So the part of the jury instructions are you're only to consider the law and the evidence in this case. And so what happened yesterday, not evidence in the case. In fact, the judge might even instruct them, disregard anything that you saw in the courtroom on Thursday. I doubt she'll go that far, but the jury the defense won't be given an opportunity to discuss it.
All right. He is Joe Goines. He has been one of our legal experts throughout the course of the bench. Gerald Goines, again, no court today. The sentencing process will resume Monday morning, and then the jury will be handed this sentencing phase. They will go into the back chambers there, and they will decide how many years Gerald Goines will remain behind bars, just as if they did when they came to rendering the verdict. Joe, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here at 9 o'clock. Zach, back to you.
Okay, we'll be chatting next week. Gentlemen, thank you.